Coach Logan Simmons, it's so good to have you on the Christian Coach podcast. We are just super passionate to hear the heart and the story behind the coach. And I know you're doing amazing things there in Texas. As you know, we just like to get right into it. So, just Logan, what does it mean to you to be a Christian coach?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I've been following what y'all are doing, and it is awesome and incredible. To me, it's who you are. It's Christian coach for a reason. It's I'm a Christian who just happens to coach. It wouldn't matter if I'm, you know, uh, doing something else. If I'm mowing lawns or cutting trees or whatever it may be, that Christian part's got to be first. It's kind of on a smaller scale. We tell our student athletes, you're a student athlete first. You're a student athlete. You're a student first, right? It doesn't matter that you're the athlete. That's the most important part, is the student aspect for your future. Well, it's kind of the same thing with being a Christian coach. Is I'm a Christian first, no matter what. It's not called Coach Christian. It's Christian because that part, Christ has to be first, and it's who you are. It's what your identity has to be in. So that's just, to me, kind of, doesn't matter what your occupation is I'm going to be a Christ follower, no matter what it is.
It's really good, and I totally agree that if we have them side by side, the coach, the winning, these things will rise above our integrity and our witness to the Lord. So super essential to just keep Christ above all. But man, I've never been to Texas. I need to get a road trip and head to Texas. I've seen Friday Night Lights, the movie, back in the day. And so that's the closest I've ever been to high school Texas football. But that's your world. And so just curious, can you just paint a picture, like tell us a little bit deeper, like what's it really like being involved in Texas high school football?
Yeah, it's huge. It's very unique, from what I've heard from other states. I believe we're one of the only, if not the only state that, to be a coach, you have to be a teacher. So you're in the public school setting, you're in the classroom, whatever it may be, teaching, or like an inclusion teacher. So you're getting to see these kids all day, every day. You spend more time with them than your own kids. You spend more time with them than probably their own parents get to, because we're, up there at, 6, 7, 8 in the morning till 4, 5, 6, 7 at night. So we're spending the majority of the time around those kids. It's not like we have a full-time job that we are away from them and then come up. So it's kind of nice getting to really put your hands on those kids and pour into them, all day, because you're going to have your athletes in class. You're going to see them in the hallways. You're going to get them during an athletic period, which is huge, to be able to pour into them and just kind of build those relationships and ensure that you're growing them in the way that they need to be grown. And it's very unique. It's huge. It's man, when Friday Night Lights comes, it's everybody turn out the lights, let's go. It's a big show down at the stadium. It doesn't matter home or away games. The majority of the state, it is the majority of the community there. Everybody wearing their colors and rocking loud. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. It'd be fun to go to one of those big high school stadiums. I say it's kind of like small college football down there. But man, just thinking through just your opportunity as a teacher and a coach, being in the schools throughout all that time, is there anything that you can think of in regards to just impacting the students? Like, obviously people show up on Friday night, they see the coach down there, but just in some of the behind the scenes, as you are trying to build relationships, build trust, impact these young men for Christ, is there anything that you're doing in the hallway or before or after practice that's kind of giving you this chance to build the relationship with your players?
yeah, so we'll do some team building stuff. I know at previous schools, and looking at the school I'm going into, starting FCA, really inviting those kids and trying to get them involved, trying to develop their leadership, but also direct them to Jesus if they don't know him, or to deepen that relationship. Like in my classrooms, I'll write Bible verse on the board, or some kind of inspiring quote that just trying to kind of get them talking a little bit, and maybe get them to ask some questions, or maybe it's just seeing them in the hallway and asking them how they're doing, it's just checking on them that way, and getting to be around them like that, you're able to know the kid and understand if they're having a bad day or if something's off with them. And that'll allow you the opportunity to dig a little deeper, if that may be the case. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. That quote, just they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And
exactly.
I love that. And just thinking through, just looking at the bio and the places that you've coached, what's it been like for you? Just jumped on LinkedIn to see, you're here for about a year, here for about a year, here for about a year. There's been a few jumps and movement with the coaching, but has that been easy for you to kind of gather up and move from school to school, or has that been a little more challenging for you?
It's kind of mixed emotions, you build such a relationship with the kids and the coaches and community, that it really is hard to leave. I've been fortunate enough to, receive some calls over the years that I've felt like have been good opportunities, whether it's, career wise or family wise. And there's been some really, really tough decisions in those. But, it's kind of depends on the situation. We've got to live in some great places. We've got to come back home, and I've got to, go from being a position coach to a coordinator back to a position coach, I guess twice now. So it's kind of getting to just see all these different communities, how different schools are ran, how different programs are ran. There's some good and some bad with it. Obviously, you wish you could stay a little bit longer and really just continue to pour into those kids, and they become family. They are, and there's been a few places that it's been really hard to leave because the whole district, the whole community has felt like a family, and it always will. But at the same time, I feel like God has called us to some other places over my career, and it's as tough as it is. It was something we had to do, and it's brought me to where I am now. So I'm very thankful for that part.
And what is the kind of the recruiting process with coach? Just again, I'm not on Twitter too much, but just when I am, I see a lot of just announcements, like these big, beautiful banners of the high school football coaches in Texas just announce like, hey, I'm going here, oh, I'm going there. But what's it kind of like for coaches to be moving, trying to climb? What's the purpose behind a lot of that?
Yeah. Twitter's big, man. It's a big for networking, especially for football. It's where that's where a lot of college recruiting stuff's done nowadays too. Everything's just kind of going through that. I got a buddy LC does all those Twitter banners. He's really good at them. So everybody reaches out to him for them. But everybody's just, it's exciting to be able to network with people, and you start building those connections, and they kind of see who you are a little bit through that. That if they have an opening, they think of you, or they think you might be, a good fit there, and they'll reach out, and you kind of get some things going from there. That's actually where a lot of my stuff has came from, is from Twitter. It's just interacting with people through there, and then something pops open and they reach out. So it's a big platform being used, and there's always coaches on the move, going here, going there. There's people that are, wanting to come into Texas. There's college kids that are graduating, wanting to get into it. So, it's kind of a big deal when you have openings to kind of go there, because everybody's on it and everybody sees it. And it's just kind of your best, I guess, recruiting tool, networking tool for coaches.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's just with the good and the bad and the ugly type of thing on, is it easy for you to navigate just the challenges of social media? Have you ever struggled with, oh man, I'm spending too much time on this? Or do you feel like you have a pretty healthy balance, healthy relationship with social media?
Oh, I definitely have my times where I feel like I'm like, okay, I'm on this way too much. But I try to do a good job doing other things. Having kids, I try to spend a little more time. Doesn't always happen, but I try to spend more time with them than scrolling through that. But like I said, it's a good tool, and I just try to monitor it the best I can, and still interact with people on there and grow and network and see what other people are doing. But at the same time, try to be where my feet are and be present where I'm at.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. There's definitely been so much good. I mean, even you and I had to connect on there and to be able to come and have this conversation. So there's so much good, but I think we also have to always keep our guard up that there's evil things that are on there, sinful things that are
Absolutely.
on there,
Absolutely.
and for sure the time sucker too, where it's like, man, put the phone down and go wrestle with my kids, for
Mhm.
sure. But man, as I was just doing some research on you, just seeing you big time high school football coach, just surprising to see the hockey background there in Texas. But what's going on? How did you get involved playing hockey, and just to play hockey for Texas State? What was that like?
Oh, it's special. So I've been playing since I was 3. There was a rink here in Belton at the Bell County Expo Center that we had a pro team or semi-pro team, and then had a couple junior teams. So we had some youth leagues, some travel leagues that I got to play in, and just got to really know everybody in those organizations, all the players and coaches and staff, and I just kind of got involved with it that way. When I was in 8th grade, there was a junior team that my mom was kind of the office administrator for, kind of like general manager, and then I was actually the stick boy. So I got to go out there and um, get to be up close with them, but also kind of practice with them every once in a while when I wasn't playing my own team. And I just had a love for it. And then when I got to Texas State and they had a team, I got to play for a year, and it was just a good time to be able to get back into it and compete uh, in something physical. And it's just, man, I can't say enough about it. It was a great time, great experience, and I don't get to play as much as I would like to anymore. I'll play some men's leagues during the summer, but that's kind of where it's at. My daughter, or our oldest daughter, is named Crosby after Sidney Crosby. So he's my favorite hockey player. So my wife let us name our daughter after him. So that was pretty cool. So
That's awesome. Generous wife to give up the name for the athlete.
very,
Man,
very.
that's awesome. And so then you were just saying that you were considering becoming a lawyer, and then just had this pivot and to get into coaching and enter into the ministry of coaching. I really feel like we're called to coach, and that's what's going to sustain you, because the coaching grind is just so hard. Long hours, not many thanks. Working with young people, the ups and the downs that comes with that. And just as you think about the coach that you are, um, and obviously with the Christian faith, what's different about Coach Logan Simmons because he's a Christ follower? What's that look like in your coaching?
Yeah, I just I just try to love these kids the way that the way that Jesus loves us. Have that unconditional love and kind of have that transformational relationship, not transactional. Really trying to transform these kids and not what can you do for me? Relationship. And like I said, it's not perfect. I'm still growing in every area, but that's kind of what I want to be, and where I'm trying to get to is just really be transformational. Like, really encourage these kids and coach them hard, but love them harder. And not, pushing kids to the side because of their ability or because, whatever it may be. And really just trying to be that person that they need. The reason I got into this, I didn't have a father growing up in my life. And so I had, my grandpa, and then a neighbor across the street, and then my coaches in school. And, you see that, and then you see all these other, these coaches that are these father figures and have helped out so many people, across the country. And that's something that I wanted to do. I feel is lacking nowadays with fatherless homes, is people need a father figure and a male role model that can lead them the right way. And that's kind of what I wanted to be for them. And is why I decided not to go to law school, and decided to be like, no, this is what I really need to do. This is, what is going to be most impactful, and is going to make that, eternal and generational, wealth, if you will.
Man, powerful. Just a Bible verse that really impacted me as I began coaching was just perfect love casts out fear. I played under too much fear for a lot of my career, and I didn't play very good when I was, playing in fear of what might coach think or what might a parent think. And I'm just curious, just for you, as you said that you just really want to love these kids and be that father figure for them. How do you show love to them within the context of football when they're trying to just cream one another, when they're on the field, but when you get off the field with them, like how are you able to show them love?
Yeah, I think, is something you can do is, put your arm around them and tell them good job. You're trying to create this team bond, that, you know, that you love that person next to you, that you're going to go out and do everything you can for them. And I think the teams that really genuinely love each other are going to be the most successful, not only on the field with championships, things like that, but off the field as well, because it's going to change everything about them. They're going to create this bond and these relationships that last forever. So really just trying to teach them that every time you go out there, you're competing, and everybody now in these days wants to be the star. I get it, but you got to sometimes sacrifice yourself for the person next to you, and showing that sacrificial love. And then, if they do a good job, man, give them a high five. If they make a mistake, correct it, but put your arm around them, tell them you love them, and just try to encourage them the best way that you can. And really just, kind of build them up. Don't let their highs get too highs. Don't let their lows get too lows, and just really love them, and hug on them, and just build those relationships.
So good. I just love talking about the physical touch with them, and the words of encouragement, and affirming them as a young man, and even just like you said, trying to build that team brotherhood, that team bond. It's just something super. We're definitely lacking the ability to share our emotions as men, and I know I'm not very good at it. Working on it, but one thing I've seen within football staffs is just even like that team unity within the staff of offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, who's one team's putting up points, one team's not stopping on the other side. But just within your staff, how do you try to build that team unity, team brotherhood between offense and defense, between assistant coaches supporting head coaches, all those different dynamics?
Yeah. There's something we did at a school a few years ago is we were a big school, and we were split with an offensive defensive staff, and we would go up there and we'd play on Sundays and play basketball. We'd play like an offense versus defensive basketball game, and not so much as, oh yeah, we're going to beat you guys, but as a, hey, let's kind of build this camaraderie. So that's one way, is kind of doing some activities like that. There's other places we'll go play golf, and kind of get to know each other that way. And at the end of the day, it's not about, offense, defense, special teams. It's about the team, that they got to complement each other. But at the end of the day, all that matters is the team. And we're one big family at the end of the day. No matter what happens, we're going to treat each other that way and love each other that way. And again, continue to get better, and help each other out, and just know that, it's not about one unit or one coach. It's about all of us.
So good. Logan, I love your perspective, your humility, and just for you to pour out this love into your players, and building unity within your community, within your staff, even within your home. Just curious, are there any spiritual disciplines or routines that really help you to stay strong in your faith?
Yeah, I don't do the best I can to follow them. Right now I'm going through every night after I put the kids to bed. I'm going through the book At the Table with Jesus. It's a 66-day devotional, and man, that thing right there is awesome. There's just so many good key points in there that that we know, but you read them and it kind of hits you and you're like, man, like it's really good. And, and it kind of helps you to change your perspective a little bit. And then, my wife and I, when we can at night, once we put the kids to bed, we try to read through a chapter of the Bible together and discuss it. And so not only are we feeding ourselves, but we're kind of feeding each other and leading that way. And, we pray before meals. That's another big one that we're trying to do what we can to keep, Christ at the center of our lives, but also our marriage and our parenting. And then, try to pray with our oldest before she goes to bed, even though she doesn't know much what's going on. She's only 2.5, but I've gotten to where I'll hold her hand and I'm like, all right, we're just going to pray, and we'll pray. And now she, I'll lay her in bed and she puts her hand up. So it's pretty cool to do that. But that's just a couple of things that, that we do that, when the days get busy, things like that, just finding those little moments that we can spend time individually with God and then also together.
Awesome. That's so good. And just this has been so good. I loved hearing your heart and some of the things that you get to do there in Texas. What an amazing ministry that you have as a coach there, where Texas football, I know that is idolized and worshipped above so much. And is there anything, I know you're gearing up for the season right now, is there anything that we can be praying for you or your family on?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. I think one is becoming the man that God's calling me to be. I feel like God's calling all of us to be, to what He's wanting us to do, and I just pray that I would do that. And then, kind of personally is raise some God honoring, God fearing kids. A world that seems so divisive and hateful, and making the world the standard. We want to raise kids that know that the standard comes from God and lives up to that. And then professionally, just being who the kids need me to be. Whoever that may be that the kids need, help me to kind of show that love and show Jesus to them, but be that person that they need.
That's so good. And I was just thinking before I pray, like, when I was an athlete, the preparation that I had for the battle, like the night before, what am I doing to get ready? What am I eating? What time am I waking up? Because like, man, I'm ready to go perform for this battle. I want to put on the line for coach, and what a spiritual battle that we have before us, and raising God honoring kids and representing Christ in the sports world, like just being a little convicted on like how am I preparing myself for those battles. I probably had more focus, intentionality in one small tennis match, than souls are at stake, and so I know we need God's help, and so we lean to Him in prayer. So let's just pray to Him and ask Him for help in this.
Yep.
Lord, thank you. Thank you so much just for the gospel. Thank you so much for sending Jesus to take our place on the cross. And thank you for forgiving us and coming in our lives and filling us, not just so that we can feel good or have eternity coming, but so that we can be on fire for you to take the message of the gospel out to wherever you call us. And I just pray right now for Logan, for these things that he mentioned, God, just that you would call him and shape him and mold him into the man that you want him to be. We praise you for the work that you've done in his life and how you've already used him. And we're excited to see how you continue to use him. And just for this huge job of parenting, pray that you would help Logan and his wife, Sarah, and just raising up these three precious little girls, and God, that they would love you, know your word, and just follow you all the days of their lives. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Mm-hmm.